women and younger women, but there's also a dynamic between older men and men in general and women. And if men see you as a sexual object rather than a work colleague, it happens. Like, I've been a teenager, like, groped at work by my boss. Like,
did you report it?
I didn't report it. Like, when these things happen, okay, maybe not grapes, but like when, like, you don't know how to, like, especially being a teenager, like, I'm going to college.
Really?
I live alone and, you know, I'm going through things in my life and I've been through things in my life, and you internalize it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you've done something wrong or you're to blame. Like, I'm feisty, so like I put it on him and I like showed him it's not that bad. But like,
what do you mean you put it?
I put it on him like, bro, like, it's not that kind of party. Like, I'm from South London.
I don't know.
Like, you're old.
Yeah, I was
like,
confused.
And the US put it on him means something.
No, like, I didn't like straddle him in the cafe, but like, I just showed him like that's not cool. But yeah, like, when there's such a difference between age and like experience, and just in general, like, even if there's not that difference between age and experience, like, men think that they can be inappropriate, and that's okay.
You don't.
Some men.
Some men. Some men. Most men.
Yeah. Ooh,
because if you look at...
not most.
No, you can't say most. Because you've got to look at a woman's experience, and you've got to look at... They do research. Like, if I've spoken to 100 men in my life, and 89.9 have moved in this type of way...
90% of men...
89.9.
Okay, you think 89.9
have moved mad.
So,
no, that's not my experience. Like, I just wouldn't. I mean, when I was young, I had a coach hit on me, but I wouldn't generalize all men with that.
89.9.
Yeah,
no, not even close. I would say most men are good men.
Like, do you know what you're saying? Do you have any brothers?
I have two brothers. One which is AWOL, and the other which is dutty but kind of good.
So if you put your brothers in the room with us, that's 4 men, and then you put Kobe said that's 5. You put Blessing here, that's 6. Amiri just left, that was 7. If you put another 3, you're going to say out of those 10 men, 8 of us are inappropriate and removed.
But you're picking like my brothers.
No, I'm picking.
You know what I'm saying
I'm
you're assuming that my brothers like are cool.
No, I'm just picking 10 men. Okay. And you said 89.9. So let's say out of 10 men, 9 of them are men that commit SA and don't know how to treat women. Is that what you're saying?
So I'm not saying that they commit SA. I never said they would commit SA. I'm saying inappropriate. So the same way that we said that older women may like try and put that on a woman and bring out like their issues that they have about getting older and a young woman being threatening to them. Yeah. That's one dynamic between an older woman and a younger woman. An older or a similar age man and a woman, from my experience, so I'm not saying in life in general this is for everybody, but from my experience, over 50%, closer towards 89.9.
Okay, wait.
Have been inappropriate.
Can you define inappropriate?
So, like passes, like
what's passes?
Yeah. So you just mean
like you look like mad, looking at your blouse, like, or like, do you know what I mean? Like
I could give a good example.
Why? Yes, please. Thank you. Because
I was at work. Sorry, I could give a good example. I forgot my mic was so far away. I was at work one day and I was like going through my shift. My job is one of those jobs where you get there. I don't really wear my uniform to work because I don't like to commute in my uniform. So I'll change when I get there, whatever not. So I've gone on the shop floor and I'm just getting on with my job. I've got probably 11-hour shift. Just going through it. And one of the like new kind of old-ish, like, you know when someone does a job and they come back? We had like someone that had come back to the shop and they was like on the pass, whatever, not doing their job. And I'm just like, you know, on the shop floor, getting on with everything. I'm seeing them gesture at me, like kind of like glaring towards me. And I'm thinking...
Who is it?
This is like, say for instance, a runner. Like I work in hospitality, so...
Oh, okay.
So like, say for example, like head waitress, that's my position, senior waitress on the shop floor. And I'm just doing my day-to-day, like, you know, diligence. And they was doing their job, but it's like they was glaring at me at a point. So I was thinking... how can I help? But I'm kind of like not saying nothing. I'm kind of looking at them like...
And it's 2 guys?
No, it's 1 guy at this point. So one guy. This is just somebody that's not necessarily on a higher hierarchy in the establishment, but it doesn't make a difference. Like men, male, whatever. So he's glaring at me and I'm looking back like, how can I help? And he's kind of like looked down because obviously being a female, you'll be conscious of when a male's looking at you. This is what I feel Stephanie's trying to explain. Like, you know, when someone's kind of giving you kind of like, not uncomfortableness, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but you're not saying nothing. So you're leaving it out in the open. So I've had to try and interpret what he's looking at. So I've looked down and my flies are undone. when was you going to say something? Because you've been looking at my front for a very long time. Here's my point. Maybe you've been looking at my crotch, and when I made like the announcement of like, oh, like, was you not going to say anything? He was like, I liked it. Like, what does that mean?
He was hitting on you.
But that's the point. Like, why? Why is that something that, it's weird. It's just weird. And guys tend to do things like in their mind seems lighthearted, but it's very serious.
Yeah, not really. I flirted with a guy at work before. I don't think it's that
I was doing like a 6-hour shift with my flies undone.
Yeah, but the thing
and
is...
he didn't say anything.
So,
he was just glaring at
the
it.
thing is, you have to be clear. You have to be very, very clear in what you're saying. So you're explaining for her, but you can't explain for her situation. So you're giving me yours, right?
Yeah.
But what I take from this as a man
is...
is...
a man's been inappropriate. That's what we're talking about.
But
that's
when you start talking about 89 point, do you know what you're saying? You're saying when you walk down the street, 90% of men are going to do a madness or going to treat you inappropriately. So then you can't then retract that to 50%. That could be more likely, 50%. A guy could maybe be like this or not be like that. As a man, when we listen to women talk like this, we have to listen to what you're saying. And unless a man has actually done something that you can concrete say he did this, I reported this, what we hear is just what we always hear from women. Depending on what you feel is how you feel the scenario was. But if you didn't report it, if it wasn't recorded, all we have to go on is just what you believe it is, and you can't even be clear in what you believe it is. What happened?
I disagree with that. Sorry, but I disagree with that because you're saying that unless someone reports it, you only have their like a version of events to go on. Yeah. But there are people. Sorry guys, but there are people who do report things and it's still their version of events.
But you didn't report it though.
Have you?
Because if you don't report it, it's he said, she said. It's
but even when you report it, it's still he said, she said. And when people report grape issues or SA issues, it's still a he say, she say. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, if it's your uncle, whoever it is, it's a personal thing. You understand? When you, like, people aren't here. Right now, there's a whole heap of people in this room, But when your man does certain things, your man, and you haven't agreed to it, it's still a he say, she say.
Did you report it?
No. I'm saying to you.
But did you report it?
I am saying to you that whether it's reported...
But did you report it?
To hear what I have to say. I'm saying to you that whether it's reported or whether it's not reported, it's still a he say, she say. And the reason why people don't report it is because it's still a he say, she say. There's no evidence. There's no camera in my room.
It doesn't work like that.
There's no camera in my room to prove that what I'm saying is true.
So why didn't you report it?
But what are you talking about? I'm talking about hypothetical situations.
Okay. So
do you understand the concept?
Yes, I do. I do.
Wait. But even when it's a he said, she said, people have patterns of behavior.
100%.
Like, honestly, I think it's selfish not to report it. I genuinely think it's selfish. Like, you want him to do that to someone else? But if it genuinely happened, like, why would you not report it? Because even if like, let's say justice isn't served for you, if 10 girls come forward with the same story, eventually they can build a case against the guy. It's happened. I've seen it happen. So it's genuinely selfish if you don't.
So when you say he say, she say, every time you go to the police and you make an accusation against someone and report, it's always he say, she say. Nothing is ever concrete. The reason why you go to the police is so that a case can be pulled against the person. So if I have 5 girls that say to me, my boss was inappropriate to me, and I said to you, okay, cool. Or my sister says to me, my boss was inappropriate to her. I say the first thing you do is go and report it. If 5 women do not report it, then they say to me, oh, it's because of he say, she say. Whose fault is that?
But we're not even blaming people.
I'm not blaming because she said to me.
Because you are.
No. Guys, listen for a second. Yeah, she said to me. Apparently, I don't understand. But I'm saying I do understand. If someone does something to you, let me look to the camera, ladies, women. If somebody does something to you in your workplace, in your home, any man is inappropriate, you need to go and report it straight away. You need to, and this is what I'm an advocate for. Because if you come on a platform and you say, "Oh, my man, did this to me," my boss did this to me, and you tell me, and I say to you, so what did you do about it? You said nothing. I'm sorry, I just can't take every woman that says that the truth. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
But can we just say very quickly?
Why?
I think we really should add that some women are so traumatized by what they have experienced. They find it difficult to come forward.
Have you experienced pearly things, or you? Have you experienced it?
I mean, the definition for essay is so broad nowadays.
What is the definition?
I don't even know. They change it every year, like
and it's
legally.
Also
but arguably, I could argue that I have.
And did you report every experience of essay?
Yes.
Every single experience.
It doesn't happen to me that many times.
Can we say you were so brave then for having the courage to do it? But some women.
What if the person you're supposed to report?
No, and I'm saying argue, and it's arguably because it's like nowadays you can report someone grabbing your butt at a bar.
But if that's not warranted or that's not invited,
but some people don't think that's like a higher enough,
doesn't
report.
matter.
No, I wouldn't report that. That's what I say. It's so broad, but I'm saying like if you're to me, okay, it doesn't make sense to me if you can come on a podcast and talk about something, but you can't talk about it to the police.
Right.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
So I understand that some people. Like, okay, they might not want to talk about it publicly, or they might if they're afraid, then they wouldn't go to my podcast and they wouldn't go to the police either. But
so what's your point?
But I still think it's selfish. I think if you so
you're telling me I'm selfish for being a 17-year-old girl who lives in a hostel. You don't know what I've experienced previous to that for not reporting my boss, who's probably about 40 years old. And excuse me. Let me land. Don't interrupt me.
No, I'm just saying yes.
I'm not asking you. I was asking Pearly things, right?
Saying yes.
I'm asking you if you think I'm selfish. I'm a child at this point, yeah? I've been sexually
harassed,
all of them things that, you can say. By old, you can't tell me nothing. Whatever your opinion is, that's your business, yeah. Because I know my situation, yeah, and what I have walked through in that situation. Right now, I'm 33 years old, yeah. So it's different now. Of course, I can sit down. I work in the community, but at that age, yeah, that young age, I am a child. I can't even open a bank account on my own, yeah, and you're telling me I am selfish.
At 17, you can. At 17, you can have a bank account.
Well, whatever you can't do,
you can do a lot at 17.
Under 18.
People don't have that education.
And
at 17, you don't know you can open a bank.
You're trying to make jokes, and you're trying to interject, and you're trying to diverge from something that is very, very important, and a lot of young women have experienced.
Okay.
Have you gone through SA?
Wait, Pearl.
No. Okay, you asked me the question first.
Go on,
then you go on this rant.
I did go on a rant because I felt like it. Sorry, Pearl.
Okay. Do I think that's selfish? Yes.
Yeah.
I think because then other girls have to deal with it. Like I just think if something happened to me that was so traumatizing, like I wouldn't want other girls to go through that.
You're basically I can't judge other people. You can say what you want and feel what you want, yeah, and have your opinion, and that doesn't mean that much to me because you don't know what people go through. What your capacity is at 17, I don't know if you went through your experiences at that age, and if you was living in a hostel at that age, and if you had gone through what I had gone through at that age, yeah? We're different people. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I know.
You sure?
I know we're different people.
We're different people. So that's what I'm saying. You might have the capacity. You might have the support. You might be living at home. You might have your mum to rub your back at the police station. I wasn't in that situation. So there are many people that are experiencing things, and I haven't got no judgment for you. Do what you can do, because why is it up to the victims to find and lick down, as a child to build up a case against these people when you have the capacity? Yes, I encourage, I support, but find an organisation. If you don't think you can do it on your own, if you are unsure, get the support that you need. The main thing is that you have got support to get through the trauma of you get your bum grabbed at a nightclub, but there's varying different traumas. There's
an organisation, it's called the police. So listen to this. I've just listened to you. Sorry. Can I talk? Because I've just listened to you. We've listened to
scars on me from the police. Okay. So why am I going to go to them when I'm being a...
So what you're doing now is we've let you speak. We've let you tell your story. We've let you tell your passion. But I'm sorry, but the world doesn't owe any one of us understanding. Lots of people are going through lots of things. End of the day, it's very selfish for you to be assaulted by a man or whatever you said, and he's 40 years harassed or whatever it is, but it's made you feel this strongly about it. It's gone into your life and it's obviously followed you. You have let this man go into the world and possibly do it to many other women before. This is like knowing a man is actually like, for example, if someone touched kids and you knew they did that and you never...
I was a kid.
No, wait, hold on. No, you wasn't. You're 17. Let's not do this. Please stop doing too much. No, listen.
Technically.
Okay, so if you're going to keep doing this, then we're not going to be able to get off. Because basically, you said to me, at 17, you can open a bank account. You can open a bank account at like 11 years old. What tends to happen is a lot of people come over here and they're trying to act like, when I wasn't an adult. At 17, you knew right from wrong. End of the day, if you had any family, any people around you, if you didn't, cool, due to scenario, I understand that. But you have the police there. You cannot come onto a platform and be this fluid and be this articulate and challenge Pearl and say to myself, you know what, I couldn't go to the police. There's nobody around. The police is there. Then you say to me, me, okay, I got attacked by the police. Okay, so you don't have... Or whatever it is you say.
Scars on me.
Okay, cool.
So why am I going to go to the police?
Okay. So now,
who at 15 have assaulted me.
Okay, cool. So now we can't go to the police, right? So you don't.
Who do we go to?
Well, I'm just discovering.
Who do we report it to?
Wait, I'm just discovering.
My manager. Who do we report? I'm asking you.
You're telling me you can't go to the police. Most people can go to the police, but you're saying to me, so I don't have to take this on board. Do you have?
Would you like to see the scars?
See what you're doing is
because he said he don't believe if you haven't reported. Do you get what I'm saying? What you're saying is very.
No. Hold on a second.
Alex, come in. No.
Because what you're not letting me finish. You're not letting me finish. And the reason you're not letting me finish is because the moment I do, you don't have nothing to push back on. You just really
talk, big man. Talk. Let me hear what you want to say.
Can I present something a second? 1 second. Can I just?
You know what it is,
guys. Let him finish.
Because the thing is, we're not going to be able to have a conversation if you keep doing this because you keep getting triggered. Why are you getting so triggered?
It's like that.
No, if this is trauma, let's not talk about it because you're getting very triggered by it and you don't have to speak about it. If this is causing you trauma, because we can't even have a conversation. In order for me to have a conversation, we're going to have to ask you some questions. We're going to have to diverge. And every time I do, you get triggered and you interrupt me. So I don't want to do it if we can't do it, Paul. There's no point.
Say what you have to say. You said you're going to land. Is that what you had to say? Is that what you had to say?
No, Alex, take it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Let me present something to you, Steph, yeah?
Yes, Alex.
For the rest of us to just listen to. So, Steph, let's say you were looking right now at a 17-year-old girl who has just experienced, you're a fly on the wall, you see a 17-year-old girl who's just experienced what you went through with the police, with those situations. What, right now, sitting here now, what do you think are the steps that 17-year-old girl should take?
I'd like to hear from the rest of the panel. I've heard from two men.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, man.
I'm asking.
He's asking you a question.
Answer the question.
Yeah, I'm asking you directly.
My advice and my concern is for her mental health and that she is supported. So my priority over speaking to the police, which I think is the best course of action if she feels able to do so, is to make sure that somebody she trusts, whether it's a member of her family, whether it's a friend, whoever, is aware of her situation. Because if she's feeling low, that's my concern. You don't my general concern.
You don't think the number one concern would be to stop it from happening again? Because it happened to her. So now it could happen to 10 girls or it could happen to one girl.
I think it's a point of view situation that
definitely
we're going on.
It's
based on someone coming from trauma and someone coming from stoicism. Yeah. So it's two completely different point of views that don't interject. So I get what you're saying in the sense that, say it with your chest, right? Those things happened to you. They were awful. I'm very sorry. But your statistic is you're coming at her with maths. Your maths is off, right? And she's saying these things happened to me. So obviously there's going to be a complete... So
can I just stop you for a second? I'll let you go on. You know what it is? I've come on this platform before. I have 3 sisters. I have 4 nieces. Like, I've just been spending the whole day with my niece. You can look at my story playing with them, yeah? I have a very good relationship with my younger sister and we speak about a lot of things. So if you said if you don't have people around you and you can't go to the police, then I'm more concerned that there's men around here and doing things to women because I keep hearing this and this is not how I was raised. So I'm like, what can we do to stop this? And whenever I try to speak about what can we do to stop this or what can we do to at least bring more awareness to it, it just goes round and round and round.
A suggestion of what people can do to stop this is perhaps, something's awful has happened to you. You don't feel like you can say it. Right? You don't feel like you have that safe space to say it. So you hold on to it. It becomes an internal trauma. And then when someone mentioned it to you, you fly off the handle. That's how most people handle these situations. But what you're saying is, what can I do? So when someone flies off the handle, don't come at them with maths. Come at them from, I understand that this reaction comes from a place of fear and anger.
You're asking him to communicate like a woman. He's a man.
I'm asking, no. In fact, I'm asking him to just communicate with me.
Mm-hmm. No, you're asking him to communicate like a woman.
Well, then you're putting different variances on
Let me, sorry, 1 second.
Again, we come to the dichotomy of words.
Yeah.
One second. I think this is interesting. So
it goes back to macho-ness and dominance of men overpowering women.
Toxic masculinity.
If you can't speak
one sec.
in a very subtle manner, or you can't divert your vocabulary.
Alex, you're going to jump in after me, but hold on a second. What you're doing is what... See, okay, so you're doing tone police, and we get this every single week. So? No, because you've literally just done what the girl did the last week and the girl did the last week. If you go look on my story on TikTok, it's going viral. Every single time a man speaks, I have a woman.
It's every time a man makes a point. It's every time a man makes a point. Now it's your tone.
So hold on.
I was even trying to.
No, but what I'm trying.
Let me come in.
Alex, let me just say, and you could just literally come after me. Pearl will let you go. But the reason I want to speak about this, because men, we speak direct. We are not women. I understand. Okay, so we have a different vocal tone. We have a different bass in it, right? When a man articulates himself, when men are direct, what women tend to do is we go around the houses. We've just spent a lot of time going around to get to the bottom of something. I completely understand what you're saying, but when you speak about men's tone, we are not women, and you don't want us to be women.
That's the point that I was making. I thought that you didn't understand what I was trying to say. Pearl was saying that she was basically trying to make you speak as if you was a female, and that's something you can't do.
Okay,
and
cool.
That's part of it. Is the reason of this whole topic, which is men harassment within the workplace, and what we were saying about how men can come across towards women when we are in a situation.
Do you think, Alex, you just take this from me?
You can't. What's the word? Like you can't. You can't like.
Be a woman.
Adapt. That's the word I'm looking for.
Do you feel I'm not being sensitive to her?
No, it's adaptation. You can't adapt. You're not even choosing to be on a level to be like, you know what, let me try and work out. No one's telling you to be a female because physically you can't be. Yeah. We understand that. But there's a part of your brain that can click. And try and understand how to, come across.
But basically,
a bit subtle towards a female.
What you want me to do?
Diverse.
No, what you want me to do? What you want me to do is
neutralize.
No, I'm trying to say you should talk in a tone.
No, because basically what you want me to do is you want me to basically tiptoe around this whole. No, because basically all I've done is simply ask her a question. I've listened to what you've said. I've asked you why didn't you report it. You've told me you couldn't go to the police. You told me you got scars. You've told me all the different things. Yeah, cool. But if there's my concern is that when this happens, women don't, and there's men that's walking around and it's continuing to happen to. So when I say, what can we do? Yeah, because with a girl in your situation now, and she hasn't got brothers, she hasn't got family, she's in a hostel as well. Yeah, what does she do? She can't go to the police. What does she do?
There's a very good advert on TV. There's a very good advert on TV.
Someone just gave you an example of what you can do. Someone just gave you an example as a man, what you could do for a woman or a young girl in that situation. Someone else is giving you an example of what you can do. I was asked what I'd advise other young people in this situation to do. So if you ask in a question, feel free to listen to some options. You don't have to take them on as, I think these are valid examples.
I'm listening.
There's even an advert on TV that states exactly this, where it's like a guy's in the park with his friends, whatever, not a woman walks past, a guy turns around, starts rubbernecking. Oh yeah, nice one. Rubbernecking is like a saying of like when a guy, breaks his neck to like put gestures at a woman or just throw things out. You just
throw things?
Yeah, throw things out verbally, like messages, like maybe you can say,
like a wolf whistle.
He cat calls.
Yeah, there's so many different terminologies, but rubbernecking is a terminology. Obviously, cat call is another terminology.
What does the cat calling have to do with that?
Cat calling is more a vocalization, whereas the rubbernecking is the turning of the neck.
Yeah, but it was both.
So
that's my point.
It's like when they're like, damn.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But wait, is
that bad?
No, I'm giving you. I'm trying to land.
I'm just asking.
No, it's not necessarily that's a bad or a good thing, but the point I'm trying to make is the advert was stating sexual harassment, and they were saying that basically within that situation, let me land quickly, the guy turned around and his friend basically was like to him, like, don't do that. Like, he stepped in and allowed him to like understand that maybe that woman might feel it's inappropriate. Maybe to his mind, he's just like, oh, what's your number? You look nice. Or them jeans look tight or whatever.
Do you think that's SA?
To me personally, I've got a bit of a stronger exterior and interior, so those things don't really faze me depending on how I'm approached. So for myself, no. But for another woman that's a bit more fragile than me, less...
Do you think that's confusing for men?
It can be at times, but some women accept that.
Like even with the workplace, like the number one... Before dating apps, the number one place that people would meet was work. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of confusing because sometimes... girls are into it when their bosses hit on them.
This is the thing.
And other times, like girls actively seek out their bosses and try to sleep with them.
But women are different. Reading the room.
Women are different.
Read the room.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, if there's a female who's interested in her boss, that's different to a female who the male manager needs to read the room that colleague is not interested.
Do you think girls ever give mixed signals? Or flirt for attention?
We definitely do.
I don't know. I think
who said we definitely?
We definitely do.
So do you think that's confusing for men? And sometimes,
I feel like women have sexual sex appeal. Like we have sexual attractions that we can, you know, sometimes put out consciously or unconsciously to male counterparts, and they can take it upon themselves to decide whether it's deliberate or, you know, she just accidentally walked past me and her bum was shaking, as if was she shaking her bum when she was walking past me.
Right, but I'm saying like one girl, you know, he might turn and say "damn," and one girl might think that's disgusting and be like, traumatized, and one girl might be like, okay, you know, and so you don't think that's confusing for men?
It can be, but I feel like that's where you then break the ice with vocalization. You start vocalizing like, "Raw, like, do you feel comfortable with what I'm saying?" Or, you know, you try to break the ice. Some guys don't tend to go into it. They just keep it at that level of, you know, snappiness. Like they're trying to be charming or witty or whatever it is. Where other guys have a bit more context to them. They will be like, you know, I would like to speak to you, or, you know, I thought that comment would be, you know, something that would get your attention.
This is why I don't move to girls. I said it before. I'll say it to camera. No, I don't. I don't move to girls. I haven't moved.
How do you How do you meet women?
I'll tell you, girls move to me.
How did you find your girl?
No, I'm being serious. Girls, like, I'm not joking. Girls move to me. I haven't moved to girl in the longest time.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're being sexually harassed or maybe put upon?
No, okay.
How do they move to you? Like grab your thigh?
No, see,
I'm just wondering.
So when a man moves to you, how does he grab your thigh?
And some guys have done different.
But that's not moving
Everyone
to you.
Is different. Is it not? That might be in his mind. I mean, that might be his level of.
Okay. I think if you don't know how to approach someone, if I move up to a girl I don't know and I grab a thigh, what do you think's gonna happen to me? We're just speaking about this, so let's just take that away. If you allow,
like Paul just said, a girl might accept that and another girl might not.
No, but no man should be. No man. Okay, guys, let me put in the camera. No. So when you say guys do, it's some guys, the guys you deal with. I've never dealt with a guy that's ever done that.
Okay,
so then who are we talking about?
I'm giving experiences, and obviously I've been in this lifetime a while to have experiences and see things. You know, not necessarily every experience is my personal experience. It might be a vicarious experience through someone else's life. You know.
But I think so when we're talking about experience, let's try to keep to what we know, what's happened to us.
What I know is that men are very forward, and at times when they're being forward, they're not thinking.
Some men.
I can only talk on men as a.
Because if I say because when I say for example, when we say women, we say modern women because we're not speaking about all women, and when we speak
modern men. A lot of modern men are very forward, especially with the lifestyle and living that is being accommodated these days. They're very forward with their personas, should I say, the way they want to move. And I feel like they have to uphold a certain level of interaction to make it make sense in their minds. Not necessarily that it needs to make sense in the actual physicality. In their minds, it looks good.
Okay, so let me get back to when I was talking about not moving to girls. So especially with the whole Me Too movement, what's happening now is, like this is I've always been this way before, but I'm going to say to men, the reason why, we don't know what for one woman it's okay to, you know, pull up on and say, do the whole Chris Brown thing, excuse me, miss, you know, the whole 90s R&B, like pull up in the car, it might be cute for you, for another woman it might be a red flag, it might trigger trauma, right? So it's pretty safe for me to say that if you want a man to come up to you, and this is what women used to do of old, you will let a man know. There's a lot of ways that a woman can let a man know that she wants him to come up to her. She can, listen, we have all these women here. I'm sure if you wanted to let a man know to approach you, you know how to do it. Women have been doing this forever, right? You can look at a man, you can smile at a man, you can wink, you could even walk past him and drop something and make him pick it up and make him come to get it, and then you can do that, right? Women know how to make a man know to approach you. That's the difference between a random girl walking past me and me trying to grab up her arm and say, excuse. She's like, who are you? She's going about her business.
It's called yes and no.
What do you mean?
It's a simple yes and no.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? You're saying that a woman lets you know whether she's interested. Yes, come. No, I'm not interested. It's a simple yes or no.
No. So as a woman, I don't even have to get to that point. I don't have to approach you. You can literally look at me, and if you look at me in a way that you want.
If I give you a look right now, that makes you feel like I like you. What's happening?
I'll approach you.
Approach me how?
What do you mean?
What's your approach? What I said, what's your approach? I've winked at you. I don't know. I start licking my lips. I don't know.
I'll be like,
what do you do?
I'll be like, you need some Vaseline?
Clearly, I've already got gloss, so is that...
No, but you're licking your... No, you
get it?
No, you asked me... No, you... Stop it. You've asked...
I'm scared.
No, wait,
guys.
No. Pearl, hold on a second.
We're not on the original topic. We need to move on. Okay, so what about you? You were next. Right? Did you go? Because we're talking about... what is your overall experience with female leadership compared with male leadership in your industry?
I'll be brief. Bloody hell.
That's how far we went off it.
I'll be brief. So far.
Wow. I've had both. I enjoy men. I personally respect men's decision making. It's quicker. It's less layers. It's less fuss. I don't care if you can't do something because you're on your period. Let's move.
Thank you.
It's extremely exhausting when, especially in a business place, we need to make decisions quick and they need to be innovative. So with women, I'm not saying they're not these things, but it takes them longer to make that decision to be innovated. It takes them longer to make a decision. The decision keeps changing. I'm not saying men don't have that capacity, but that capacity seems to be shorter, which is what I enjoy more. I've experienced...
Do you feel that way about yourself?
What do you mean?
What you just said about women leaders.
Yeah, I wouldn't... I wouldn't want to... I would be my own boss if I had to...
So much.
If I had to lead, I would prefer a male boss. That's just me. Like, I'm just like, I do what I do, you do what you do. Like,
I agree with you. I just think they're better at it.
Yeah, I just prefer my feminine power to be... I feel like they need me and I need them. I don't even... Just because his title is more, I'm like... I'm the underdog. He can't do nothing without me. Okay, this man needs me. Okay,
so what you're talking about symbiosis.
Men need women. I'm so confident in that fact of men needing women.
No,
I'm chilled.
Women need men.
I'm chilled. Like, cool. If you need to have the title, darling, I don't mind. Is money coming in? Love it. I've had inappropriate on both ends, male and female. The female inappropriateness was the bullying, the patronizing, the being weird with other people, and the gossiping. That's what I didn't like. There was a lack of integrity. Like, why are you spreading these beautiful girls' business?
Isn't that mad? 80% of bullying is from women.
I believe it. Yeah. When I heard the statistics, it made sense to me.
Yeah. That's over 60,000, like 60,000 people took that.
I believe that. I genuinely believe that. They just be weird. But the inappropriate with the men, it's been flirting, or sometimes it's just... The inappropriateness for me is you're really chilling, like scratching your balls at the top because you're like, I'm the man sort of thing. And I feel like that's inappropriate.
What do you mean chilling, scratching the... People at the top work like 89... Like, my dad is one of those CEOs. He works 80 hours a week my whole life.
And respect to your dad, but that's your dad. Some people get to the top and start chilling and they just... Like, I'm not saying your job isn't to chill because you've worked your way. It should be smarter, not harder at that point. But I mean, scratching their balls is like taking a way too relaxed approach.
Do you know these men and like the 1%, 2%, 3%?
What do you mean?
Like, do you know them personally?
Yeah, I've worked for just like two, but the inappropriateness was like one was really relaxed and just taking drugs, like
drugs.
You were going in, buddy. Like, hello,
rich
we have a restaurant to run. Hello, and because he's the boss and he's at the top, where I find women to be not more scared, but they will think in way more layers than to do that. Men is just like, I'm risking it for the biscuit. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, men are more risky. I agree with you. Go ahead.
Even when you think about FMCG and you go above and a few levels, and okay, there are less women there, and they're
at what? Wait, say that again.
Sorry.
I don't know what FMC.
Sorry.
Is that a British thing?
This is a British thing.
Is it like a business type?
Yeah, sorry. FOSS, it's an acronym. I'm sorry. I should put like £5 in a jar to tell everyone. I am the worst person. I do it at work as well. And now I've done it just in front of many people.
That's okay.
Fast moving consumer goods. So you have to be able to make decisions quickly. You have to be innovative. I work in that role right now. I just feel like women are getting a really bad bum deal out of this. The harder we work, the higher we go. We're still dicks because we have to behave in the same way, but not the same way. Like, I'm doing it. I'm living it. Like, I really think it's not that deep, guys. Like, it doesn't matter what you have. Just get on with it. JFDI. Just fucking do it. Like, let's go.
What do you mean?
Like, I just find that this whole dichotomy between men and women and like, it just, if they're a bad boss, they're a bad boss. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think what's interesting is that most men say they don't have a preference. It was like 50-50, where women say they don't like working for women. So it's
I don't know. And maybe I have a difficulty with personal experience, but I've had a bad woman boss and I've had a bad man boss, but I've had lots of bosses and I've been a boss. And my personal experience is that if you're a dick, you're a dick. It doesn't matter what genitalia you have. You're going to be a dick.
Okay, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree realistically on that point. I have very limited personal experience, but I've had, both. Like, realistically, in my experience, the female, like, on-site manager was horrible. Like, going to personal topics. But that was on the situation. To be honest, I think it's just dependent on the person realistically, because there are different experiences from everybody here about a male manager being inappropriate, female manager being inappropriate. I know we're generalizing, but I just think, it's dependent on the person, realistically. My experience, my manager was a male. He was fine, but he was in a relationship. It's very different, scenes. But on-site female manager wasn't great, but it was personal. She was older than me. She was jealous in a way of different experiences. But I do think if it was a different experience with the the experience was very awkward between me and her. It became personal without me wanting it to be at all. But some people just like they don't care. Sometimes they just go for it.
Hey, I need you guys to stop with the side talking because we can hear it in the mics. Go ahead.
Yeah, but realistically, my experience is more, and obviously my female manager wasn't as good as the male. However, I don't think that can speak for everybody, and a general experience of is male management better than female. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about you?
I mean, I don't have much experience, but like from what I've experienced, I definitely prefer like male leadership for sure, because I feel I feel like it's more of a relaxed environment. Like with women, it's always this and that. It's like I don't have time for it. We're all here for £10.50 an hour. Like we're not like much different. So like I said, I don't have much experience, but I definitely prefer male leadership. It's more laid back. We can get on with our jobs, and that's that. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. Do you guys think it's offensive to make general statements about a gender?
No.
Example.
Men tend to be better in leadership.
I mean, stereotypes are there for a reason, and they come from somewhere, but overall we are generalizing, and I feel like there's a lot of like women bashing right now within the workplace. But if we look at it as well, in history, the women went to work sort of from the 50s and 60s, and whereas we first had the women being the
maker.
Homemaker, that's the word I'm looking for.
They also work on like the farm too.
Yeah.
Well, in the U.S. Sorry, I'm thinking U.S.
Actually, I was thinking about the U.S. too. That's where I read the statistics from. But basically, when the women went into the workforce, sort of the family side of things struggled. That was also when divorce rates went up by, I think, like 80% or something crazy like that. But
it was also after the development of birth control.
Yes, it all came around the same time. Yeah, but I mean.
They're like, bring me back to the street.
I think if we're going to be that particular, like men are better than leaders. Oh, where is this world going? I can't say nothing. Can't just think out loud at this point. Bloody hell! Like,
wait. So you're saying we should be able to say that?
It's just your opinion.
Yeah,
like, it's not harming anybody. It hasn't got any references into anything graphic or inappropriate. Bloody if that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, because I just don't know. We keep saying there are exceptions, and I'm like, I know there are exceptions, but like we can make general statements about.
To be fair, though, I do think it depends on the topic with generalization. Like the topics that we had before that were very like it can be very touchy subjects. Generalizing can be too much. Like when you were both talking about like the specifics of the numbers you were using, it can be dependent on the topic. Realistically, generalization, we all do it with everything. But yeah, with certain like subjects, you have to be a bit more particular.
I think nowadays, with the rise and evolution of feminism, more women who hear certain generalizations that don't necessarily paint women in a good light will take umbrage to those generalizations, and then they will be the ones to say something, get triggered and want to kind of dispute it, or even if it's a factual thing, they will still say, I don't agree.
You can still fudge the numbers though. So statistically,